let's see this.
Cool. I think we are good to go. All right. Great. So thanks so much for letting me run a game for you. This is I'm really looking forward to this. Um,
I'm excited.
Yeah,
yeah.
me too.
I'm Mark. I use he, him, and I live in Austin, Texas, in the U.S. And I like playing and making and running games. Can you tell me a little bit about yourselves, just to start off?
Yeah, hi. If from Mexico, I'm working in several RPG projects. I'm a programmer mostly, and I use she, her pronouns or they, them pronouns, and I'm really excited about trying a new game.
Awesome.
Hello, I am Kalum from the Rollist streams and podcasts and a bunch of different things from the RPG Academy faculty as well. Pronouns he, him. I'm from London, and yeah, I'm very excited to play this game, which I've been hearing so much about through the Gauntlet. So I'm very looking forward to that.
Cool. Yeah, this is one of my favorite sort of jump in and play games. So it's pretty fun. Um, Great. So I'm just going to go through. I don't know if you've read the rules or if they have this for other Gauntlet games, but there's a thing at the top called Cats, where we talk about the concepts, aim, tone, and subject matter of the game, just to give a quick intro and get everyone on the same page. So I'm just going to jump into that. So the big concept is Brindlewood Bay is a role-playing game about a group of elderly women who are members of the Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club, and they find themselves frequently investigating and solving real-life murder mysteries. They become increasingly aware that there are supernatural forces that connect the cases they're working on, and in particular, a cult dedicated to the dark, monstrous aspect of the goddess Persephone, who will come to vex them. The game is directly inspired by the television show Murder, She Wrote, and also takes inspiration from the works of H.P. Lovecraft, cozy crime dramas in American television shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So today we're going to start off by creating some characters. After we create the characters, we'll introduce them and do a populated special section on the character sheet called Cozy Little Place. And after that, we'll do a beginning of session procedure, a little set of scenes that are vignettes that introduce the characters more, and then I'll present the mystery to y'all. And then we'll just start regular play. And at the end, we'll have a little debrief. And yeah, that's it for that. The tone of the game sort of bounces between cozy and creepy. Most of the time it'll be pretty lighthearted, but it will occasionally get kind of dark and menacing. There's some kitschy and campy humor is totally okay here. But your characters will take everything they do seriously, even if we're having a good time. And the subject matter is occasionally dark and challenging, but we'll do some safety tools up here at the top to make sure everyone's good with what we do here and on the same page. Do you have any questions about any of that before we jump into safety stuff?
No, I'm just looking at the character creations. I will have questions then
Oh yeah,
regarding
of
style.
course.
Yeah,
I'm way
Yeah,
out
for
of depth.
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a quick. I don't think I. Let me make a new sheet here on our spreadsheet. So I'm going to make a sheet here just called safety and lines, veils. So are you familiar with the script change safety tool?
Script change? No, I am not.
Okay, it's a kind of an evolved version of the X card. Basically, anytime you want, like baseline, players are more important than the game. So we want to take care of each other and have a good time together. So basically, we have tools available to ourselves. We can pause, just say pause, and we will stop and check in about what's going on. We can rewind. So if something comes up in the game that we didn't like or was not okay with us, we can just rewind, redo it again. We can fast forward. So if there's a scene coming up like there's some some potentially nasty stuff coming up, we can just skip past that and go to whatever the aftermath is without getting rid of that. We can have a redo of those. And anytime, of course, if we just want to stop and say like, this is no good for me, no thanks, we can do that. And so I just added a sheet to the spreadsheet called lines and veils. Lines are the things that we do not want in the game at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with, I don't want torture. I don't want cruelty to animals. No sexual violence. And no, homophobia, transphobia, racism. I'm not interested in having any of those in the game. And so if there's anything you'd like to add to those lists, that's fine. Veils are things that we're okay with having in the game, but we don't necessarily want to see on screen. So I'm just going to say, sexual content at all is a veil. So like if something happens, we can say, cool, fade to black, and then come back later. And so if there's anything that you either don't want in the game at all, or that you would like to sort of soft fade on if it comes up, great. Things tend not to come up of these sorts in this game, but it's always good to know. And the game I'm running now has cruelty to animals at all is off the table. So which is important because one of the characters has a cat. So like the cat will never be put in danger.
Okay.
So if there's anything at all there, and if anything comes up during the game, of course, feel free to add it or just say something, and we will make sure that everyone is doing good.
Yep.
Cool. So let's see. If we're okay with all that, let's go on to the character creation. So there's only two of us, so I'm going to hide these other columns just for ease of. Cool. Sweet. So go ahead and put your own name and pronouns in the player section on the spreadsheet. And so there's a list of names you can choose from if you don't want to make up one, but you're also free to make up a name 100%. Then each of you will choose a style. So they're very definitely American culture based styles. So if you have any questions about what any of those mean or what they imply, feel free to ask. Or if there's something more appropriate to stuff that you're familiar with, it is super flexible. We can just go with that. It's just the general general way that your Maven is.
I'm loving all the cardigans.
Great.
I got some little googling. Okay. So what is Martha's Vineyard?
Martha's Vineyard is an island off the East Coast, and it's very very upper class and fancy. That's where like rich people go to have summer homes or vacations or whatnot. That's you're very posh upper class.
Give me a second, please. My battery is about to run up. I thought I had connected it.
That's a bit much.
There it is.
Eve, what do you think? I hesitate between Martha's Vineyard and Jackie O.
I'm familiar with Jackie O, but I think Martha's Vineyard sets up all these, like, no, I don't know, place where we will meet. So I'm liking that better. Maybe we often go to your, I don't know, summer house or something like that.
Nice.
But we are in Brindlewood regardless, no?
Yeah, you live in Brindlewood, but you can have a summer house somewhere else.
What's Blouse Barn?
Blouse Barn is like a discount cheap clothing store. So someone who might try to look a little bit fancy, but is definitely not.
I'm trying to go for the exact opposite energy. I guess I go for I go for Martha's Vineyard. But what I'm googling is sort of in that ballpark, and I
Right.
will take gardening as my cozy activity.
Awesome. Yeah. So go ahead and one of those. And so the cozy activity will be the thing that you like to do to that's sort of like your happy place. It will also be used mechanically. So if you are having a scene with the other Maven that involves your cozy activity, you can clear a condition and lose and stuff. So we'll talk about that when we hit the rules.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Great.
I
So oh sorry, go ahead.
and I'm just liking scrapbooking.
Awesome. Scrapbooking and gardening. Great. Cool. So let's jump down to there's the 5 traits down there. Um, and those are the starting values, and we can add 1 point to either vitality, composure, reason, or presence. Probably want to not do it to sensitivity because we won't be getting the supernatural stuff yet. Vitality is anything like using physical stuff, moving around, escaping, climbing, whatever. Composure is anything where you're using your personality to try to do something. Reason, clearly, when you're using your mental capacities to find clues or talk to people. And presence is, I'm sorry, composure is keeping yourself cool. Presence is when you're using your personality. So go ahead and add 1 point to that. We got that presence there.
To one of these, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So I added one to presence and already added one, which will be part of my Maven move once we move
Awesome.
there.
I think I'm adding it to reason.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. And Giselle already started grabbing the Maven move. So go ahead and choose one Maven move down here. There's a nice little drop down.
Uh, I was reading those earlier, and I think I'm
Yeah.
having Scarecrow.
Awesome. Cool. So Scarecrow at the beginning of the session, someone gives you a note or something, or leave something where you can find it. I'll tell you what it is. It'll be a clue that you can use at any time. And great. Sounds fun. And Jonathan Hart, yes, of course, used to live a globe-trotting jet set life, still have a touch of glamour, and adds one to the presence. Fantastic. I love it. Great. And that is pretty much it for character creation. Let me talk a
Okay.
little bit about the other parts of the sheet that we'll be using. So when we start play, the end of session moves up here. You will choose, you'll check off, you'll checkbox next to 3 of them. One of them will always be, did the murder Maven solve a mystery? And then you'll choose 2 other ones. And so those are things that you're kind of trying to do during the session, and you'll get experience points for any of the ones that you do successfully. So if you check off, did you dote on someone, you'll get experience points at the end of the session if you're being sort of mothering to someone. And so
Okay.
and then those are for advancements later on. We'll talk about those. And next to the traits is a block called conditions. Those are if something bad happens, or if either mechanically through a roll, or if something happens in a fiction where it makes sense to add one. So if you're trying to climb over a fence and you roll poorly and fall, you might get a condition, sprained ankle. If you spend the night at the bar and drink a lot in the course of pursuing your objectives, we can just go ahead and add a condition, had too much. And conditions basically mean that when you are making a roll that it would impact, we'll be rolling with disadvantage. Uh, and so that means that, so normally we're using, it uses 2d6 plus your attribute that you have there. So sort of normal PBTA kind of things. In this game, when you roll with disadvantage, we'll be rolling 3 dice and taking the lower 2. If we are rolling with advantage, you'll be rolling 3 dice and taking the best 2. One way to get advantage is to use stuff from your cozy place, which we'll do quickly here, shortly here. The other part of the character sheet, there's these crowns at the bottom, and those are things that you can use at any time after you've rolled to make your roll better. So if you roll something and fail, you can use one of these crowns to succeed with complications. Even if you roll to succeed, you can use it to bump it up a notch and get extra clues and whatnot. And the way those works is you say you want to use a crown, and you'll check one of those off and do the thing that says. The crowns at the top can be used in any order. The ones at the bottom have to be done in order. And the ones at the bottom are the creepier ones. And when all 5 of those are checked, which we probably won't do today, that is the end of that character story. So, and that includes even something, I've had stuff happen where someone was searching for clues outside during a party. They failed very badly. Someone comes out of the shadow and shoots them and kills them. And so then they can use a crown to say, no, I actually wanted to make that roll better. Like, great, we can rewind that. And then they can find a clue instead of getting shot. So that's a really fun way to let us do crazy things and still be able to play. Any questions about any of that stuff? There's a lot.
So what did you say about the cozy little place? We had things there. How?
Yeah. Let's actually do that right now. We have a vague idea of what your characters are like now. Let's just go ahead and each of you will describe. So each part of the character, each of you has a deceased partner. Each of you may have children and or pets that are still alive, and you will have a career that you had before you retired. So anyone can go first.
Okay. I like to have a pet.
Awesome.
It's a parakeet. I'm not sure how you write parakeet.
Marilyn, great, as a parakeet. What was your partner like?
I think she was a writer, and that's why I got into the book club. Yeah,
Cool. What was her name?
To remember her. Andrea.
Awesome. And what was your career before you moved to Brindlewood?
I think I was a teacher. I think that
Awesome.
that will make sense with the reason, the
Cool.
reason +1 to reason.
Awesome. And what about Giselle?
Okay. What was the first question again?
What was your deceased partner like?
He was significantly older than me. Had much more money also. We had a sort of jet set like life together, and we would bicker a lot. And our public image was that I didn't really like him, and I married him for the money. But actually, we had a rather tender relationship, and I missed him very, very much since he's gone. And I never got back with somebody else, and I removed myself from that jet set life.
Nice. What was his name?
Ah, André.
Andre, great. And what did you do? Did you have a job besides jet setting? Or, and that's fine if you just did that, enjoy being rich.
No, no, I was pretty much a gold digger. Not
Nice.
even that much involved in charities or stuff like that. More fancy partying, but nothing vulgar, of course.
Cool. Did you have any children?
Uh, no, no, sadly not. Did I?
You
Maybe
know,
a son somewhere. We can
a
find out
son.
more about him later.
Cool. Great. So, for your cozy little place at the bottom here. So these are things that we will add to your character, and they'll be related to your cozy activity, um, possibly, or just related to you personally. And if you can work one of them into a scene, or you would like to either work them in physically, or just talking about them, or using them to relate to someone, you can check that off and use it for advantage. So all three of us will each give one of the each of the mavens a cozy thing. Um, let's start with Giselle, I guess. I think uh, a a cozy little place item for Giselle might be a uh, favorite sun hat. We'll each add
Yeah,
one of
cool.
those.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Actually, I'm trying to find a place where I can copy paste a picture. Because I found one.
Right, some hat.
And yeah,
Mm,
I'm just gonna make a minor amendment. I would say that my
Mhm,
partner's name was René because
mhm.
I did not realize at first that Andre and Andrea were quite close.
that was kind of cool.
What other things might Giselle have in her cozy place?
So in my cozy place, so I think she would still have a wedding band,
Oh, cool. Awesome.
which is oddly sober. It's really just a metal ring, nothing fancy.
Cool.
I added to Giselle a fancy ornamental water can. Maybe something
Great.
that isn't actually used to water the
Hmm.
plants, but more of a decoration
Nice. Love
Is
it.
it for me or for you?
for
That's
Giselle.
for Giselle. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So let's add three to Marilyn. Do you have any ideas for her?
Mm, since she's all the cardigans, maybe she's got a favorite. What is it called? Come on. Knitting needles and kit.
Oh yeah.
She's got a little bag with the knitting needles and a pair of spools of wools that she likes to use or take along all the
Awesome.
time and have a break and knit maybe.
Yeah. I think another fun thing might be a collection of photos from places she's vacationed.
Uh, I added a brooch uh, given to me by my former partner. I love vacation photos and a knitting kit. That's very cool.
Cool. Yeah. So if you want to incorporate those into any scene or thing, you get advantage when you use those. Awesome. So let's jump in and introduce the characters with a they call them cozy vignettes. Um, yes. So if one of you would like to go first. Basically, just you will just describe a short vignette or scene. It doesn't have to be long or involve anyone else, and just describe your Maven involved in your hobby or at your home or something just to establish what they're like.
So
Uh, yeah, go ahead, Calum.
so I picture Giselle is wearing a flower dress and which kind of clash, which she's got a pair of wellies of rubber boots, and she's carrying around and a sort of a gardening apron, and she's carrying around a big pot of flower pot without flowers, but just the dirt in it. And she plants. She I don't know what you say that in English. She changes a few flowers from
Mm.
one pot to this larger one, and once she's done, she sits on a stone and lights up a cigarette. Maybe when she's interrupted by Marilyn and Giselle hurries up to turn off a cigarette and hide it in the flower pot.
Awesome, that's perfect. Great.
uh,
Giselle.
I think Marilyn. I think Marilyn will be at the attic, at her attic, uh, looking through old paper clippings and some old books that she really hasn't had time to sort in her little library,
Mm.
uh, because she's getting stuff together to make a new scrapbook for the book they just finished reading in the book club.
In the book club.
Uh,
Awesome.
so I think I would be sorting through all of this stuff, and I'm about to go see Giselle to ask her opinion on what should I include.
Great. That's great. Perfect. Perfect. Sweet. So let's. Are you feeling good to jump into the mystery itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Um, so this mystery is called Dad Overboard. It's the name of the episode of the TV show or whatever. And the way that the mystery will work is each mystery has a complexity. So this one is six. How long were you? How long were you interested in playing today? Like, I have like 3-ish hours on the clock. If you
Three
wanted,
showers is perfect.
That sounds fine. Yeah.
cool. So we may not get all the way through the mystery, but so we can either decide to if you are enjoy this and you want to do a second session, I'm happy to do that. Or if we want to wrap it up this time, we can lower the complexity and do a solve at the end. And basically what that means is you'll be getting clues throughout the mystery. And once you have an idea of who you think might have done it, we'll use those clues to put together a theory and then make a roll. And that will decide whether the person that you decided did it or not was actually the murderer. There's no preset right solution or not. So that's pretty fun.
Cool.
That means if you get 6 clues, you'll have just an even straight roll, like a normal roll. Otherwise, it'll be a plus or minus, but we'll talk about that when the time approaches. Great. So this mystery, this starts off at the top floor of the Candlelight Booksellers, the bookstore where you have your murder mystery reading club together, and you've just finished talking about the latest book that you've read with each other, and it's just the top floor of a bookstore. And as we look around the store where you have your meetings, what is in that space that you have done to kind of make it your own space, to personalize it a little bit? What do we see there?
I think I will have brought home from home a coat rack. for the Blazers,
Amazing.
and I think there's a largish corkboard,
Hmm.
because I mean they are. I guess I would like to make all these theories about the books from page
Nice.
one, from even page one.
Perfect.
I think Giselle, she would have helped pick the plant for where the plant should go when she. I think she was quite reluctant to join the book
Hmm.
club. She went there because Marilyn insisted. And when she arrived, she was like, "No, no, no, no! You cannot put this type of plant this far from the window or the opposite." And she sort of reshuffled everything on the first session, and then she replaced the plants, saved some from their probable desiccation over time to put others which were better. So when she arrives, she checks on the if the dirt is moist as it should be or too moist and so on, and she sort of arranged it. So the not exactly flower arrangement, but the plant arrangement of the room is a tad higher than the standards of the rest of things around there.
Perfect. And Janet, who runs the bookstore, is totally happy to have you help out. She's no good with plants and just loves when you come in and fix things up and help rearrange things to make it look better.
Of
Um,
course, Janet, you're not good with plants. It's good that
she's
you're
good with
not good
she's good with
with
bugs.
plants. It's good that you realize that at least. I posted a couple of
Um,
pictures in the chat if
oh yeah,
people
it's great.
check.
I love it. Great. So as you are wrapping up, you hear footsteps coming up the stairs, thinking it might be Janet to help clean up. But it is not. Instead, it is the local law enforcement officer, Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple. And you definitely know him. You've helped solve murder mysteries in town before. And he uh, walks up the stairs, and you sort of see his hat first, and you can hear him sort of huffing as he comes up. He's not in the best of shape. He's been an officer of the law for some time, and there's not a lot for him to do necessarily in Brindlewood, being such a small town. And he comes up and he's like, Marilyn, Giselle, good afternoon. I
Afternoon.
uh, I don't want to disturb you. I
Fine, you
wanted
can
to
leave then.
wait until. Well, I hate to. I hate to impose, and I hate to. Well, there's been another murder, and uh, it's a frustration. I tell you, there's
Frustrating. That's quite a reaction to a murder. I'm
Order.
it.
glad you're taking this seriously.
I have to take it seriously because it was one of the Krauses. See, Albert Kraus. You might know him. He's a wealthy man from a wealthy family. He he washed up on shore last night, dead,
Oh,
clearly. He and his family, they're on a little yachting vacation on their yacht, and the boat is anchored out in Brindlewood Bay, about a quarter mile from shore. Of course, we went out. Gary and I went out and talked to the family. Uh, Gave them the bad news first, of course, the most delicate way possible. Uh, they're a they're a peculiar bunch. You know how people of that standing, that status are. So they insist that he just got drunk at night and fell overboard and must have banged his head on the way down or just drowned from being intoxicated. Uh, I don't think that's what happened. That I got out to that boat and I call it a boat, but it is like a floating shopping mall. It is quite a spectacle. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's got all sorts of things on it. It's a yacht, and it's got railings, and I have somewhat of an eye for detail. And I noticed those railings were a little bit too high for someone to fall over accidentally. And you know how families are; they just want to keep things quiet. So, in an unofficial capacity, of course, if you are uh, of the mind to help us out once again, I would be incredibly and greatly in your debt if you would uh, inquire gently with the family, see if you can find any reason. We can't keep them here without a reason, and they are eager to get back to wherever they're going next. I can't keep them without any evidence. So I don't need you to solve anything for me or find a murderer or anything for me. But all I need is you to find some evidence. If you can find some evidence of some sort of crime that we can investigate, that'll give us what we need. And it seems like they're a little bit skittish of the law. So uh, you seem like the obvious choice, I'm assuming.
I look around towards Giselle and I go, "What's up with this town and murder?" Then looking back to the officer, what did you say his name was?
His name is Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple.
Weinman. So, Officer Weinman, and where could we find the family then?
They're currently moored, anchored in the bay on their yacht. I got Deputy Gary out on the pier with a runabout. So if I can have him run you out on a little boat if you'd like to talk to the family.
So the boat is not docked. Then we need to take a boat to get there. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
correct.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Have you been on a boat, Marilyn?
Not recently, not since my last vacation some years ago.
Yeah, I never got the fascination with boats. As soon as they start getting a little bit of money, they all want to have one. But really, it's like a smaller, less convenient house.
You know, Harry,
If
they say there's only 2 days you enjoy a boat: the day you buy it and the day you sell it. So
Mr. Wyman is well, the hospital's all full up right now, and there's no place to keep a body in an official capacity until we clear out space. So Mr. Wyman is currently resting comfortably at um, well, he's in cold storage at the fish market.
So
So
Wyman is the victim, or is it the sheriff? Sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kraus. Mr. Kraus is his body is down at the fish market. Um, if you would like to start on there, I can point you in the right direction, but I'm sure you know the place.
where were they coming from? Why were they here at Brindlewood?
They were coming from their estate up in middle Massachusetts somewhere
Hmm.
at the Kraus estate, about an hour outside of Boston.
Okay, I think after Giselle waters her plants, we can go by to ask the family. What do you think, Giselle?
All right,
Yeah,
that
but
sounds good.
as you say, what is our plan?
I think talk to the family, and then go to a fish market, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, oh, if they were on the dock, it would be easy to find an excuse to interact with them or even get on board. But if we need to take a little boat all the way to that big boat, I'm not sure, or I will justify boarding them.
Officer Weinman, uh, did you have something for us to get there, or could you provide something for us to get there?
I can give you so I can let's see. Well, I can you can say that you are temporarily deputized and that we just needed some follow-up interviews with them for just for the record.
Okay. What do you think yourself?
I don't know. I'm afraid they could become defensive if we highlighted our connection to Officer Wyman from the get-go. Maybe, I mean, your scrapbooking. Could you pretend to be part of the local newsreel and not insist on the grisly situation, but instead about their family? And I guess it's kind of flattering to have them around. I mean, I wouldn't be bothered by them, but they're just nouveau riche type of people. But I mean, this sort of flattery can work with them. It might get them to. It definitely gives you an opportunity to ask questions.
For sure. I mean, it's not every day that you see a boat of this size, so and they probably like to parade it all around. So I think that will be a good excuse. Maybe we haven't even heard about the murder. It's a small article for the paper about their visit, their honorable visit.
Should we make some research before getting there?
Oh.
You know, use go to the library and use one of those god awful machines. With connect to
Yeah,
connect to the tick and the tock and sort of things.
you can definitely do that. Use a little microfiche machine. Yeah.
The twatch.
That, that sounds great.
Your sort of
You-
your sort of American Minitel. I don't know
Yeah.
what do you call that? The internet.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Um, yeah. So yeah, sheriff is like, all right, you have my cell phone number. Just give me a ring anytime you find something or if you need help.
Or you wish I would call you Officer Wyman. I always told
Uh,
you it would never happen. Stop
I'm gonna
trying.
keep trying. Great. Where would you like to go next?
Library?
the library, yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So the library in Brindlewood is quaint. It's a small, older building, stone building, and you know the librarian there pretty well. Her name is Charlotte, the librarian, and you have clearly been there many times to do your research. And she's like, oh, I know you're here for one of two reasons. You're either here to get the newest Golden Crown mystery, or you are here to help the sheriff with something. Which one is it? What can I help you with?
Well, we are here to do some research, honey. If you could just point us to the microfiche machines.
Oh, of course, you are more than welcome. Is downstairs in the basement. The place is yours. Do you need any? Can I bring you a tea or a coffee or some water or anything?
We're all good, darling. Thank you very much.
Well, you just holler anytime you need something. Yeah, and you've used the machines before, so you are easily able to make that in. Who wants to spearhead the investigation there? Which one of you?
Uh, Probably not me. So what is it? The ability for that? Oh,
Oh
so
no,
we don't even know.
yeah, that would
Uh,
definitely be reason, I think. So
yeah.
probably Marilyn would want to.
I think I'll roll. So it's 2d6,
Great.
right?
Yeah, so this is going to be a meddling roll. So you roll 2d6 plus your reason, which is 2. And then I'll tell you what happens afterwards.
That's 7, 9.
Great, perfect. Um, Sweet. So let's see. So you will you search through the microfiche for a while, and it actually takes some time. The Krauses are a rich family from Massachusetts, and there's a lot of there's a lot of social page stuff and a lot of fluff pieces on the family. There's the husband Albert, who is deceased, Amanda, his wife, uh, who has does all sorts of charity things. They have two daughters and a son, Sarah, Emily, and David. And there's a lot of stories about them, traveling, and all the charities that they donate to, and various little, like, oh, who was seen with who. You do come across um, one interesting story, um, and that is uh, a, uh, from a social column, um, and it is talking about a upcoming fundraiser party that um, the wife Amanda has scheduled, and the sort of scandal columnist is like, I have gotten my hands on the guest list for the party, and just as a formality, of course, um, in addition to all of the donors and local luminaries, uh, each family member is also officially invited, except it seems that uh, the list that was sent out, uh, I got a copy of the original list that was sent to the newspaper, and David Kraus, their son, his name was not only omitted from the list, but crossed out entirely. So, whatever that means, sounds like there's some trouble in paradise, family wise. And so your clue for that is a guest list for an upcoming party with David's name crossed out.
Uh, could Giselle look at the guest list and work out if there's anyone in that guest list she would remotely know that she would have interacted with in her past life with Renee?
Yeah, of course. There's a several. Who do you think you might know that would be on that list?
Um, I guess it would be the person who organized the charity itself. Like it would be financed by the cross, but the person running the thing for them, sort of project managing it, would be
Yeah.
someone I know from or doing this sort of job for a lot of organizations. Kind of a wedding planner of
Mm,
charity
like
events for
like an
wealthy
event planner.
families. Yeah.
Yeah. What's their name?
Uh, should I pull up my what's behind the name random generator? Will be looking around me for a name. I don't know. Marilyn, do you have a name?
I'm looking at the list
Oh yeah, nice.
in the character sheet,
Ah, good.
and I think Maxine. Maxine sounds.
Next would be
Maybe
like,
Maxine is not her real name,
yeah.
but she goes by Maxine because it's more dramatic.
Love it. Yeah, you definitely know that person who Amanda has enlisted to help make that event happen. And as you continue on with the research, um, the microfiche machine is in the basement, and the you this is part of the investigation process that you just love, and the hours have slipped away, and after a while, Charlotte sort of comes downstairs gently, like, excuse me, ladies, I'm afraid it's coming up on 7 p.m. and the library is about to close. You're welcome to stay if you like, but I'm going to have to lock up soon. So it is, it's I got to get home, get supper ready. but it is nighttime now.
Come on, Charlotte. Everybody knows about your after dark reading sessions, air quote reading. Well, but it's fine. We'll leave the premise to you and your pupils.
You're too kind. Yeah, so it is a brisk September Brindlewood evening. Stars are out, all the street lamps are on. There's a few. The library is kind of the center of town, near the touristy area. So there's people about and all sorts of stuff happening. What would you like to do next?
First of all, I'm getting my cardigan together, and then I don't know if it's that late. Do you think it's pertinent that we go talk to the Krauses right now, or should we try to find something else about this son of theirs, this David?
I think we could go question them. Actually, I was starting to think of an excuse to meet them. Um, Surely, I mean, I guess that there's technological means, but at sea, I don't know. I would not think about that. But yeah, I got something in mind to excuse. I would visit them with you, saying that we know Maxine Georgeson. To get we have her in common, and that she reached out to me, knowing that I lived in Brindlewood Bay.
Fantastic.
Honey, you are so connected. I love you.
Yeah. Well, I came here to disconnect, and sadly, the event seems to keep. I was getting out, and they pushed me back in.
Nice. So you'd like to head to the boat next?
Yep.
Is what I'm hearing?
Yep.
Great. Yeah, so you head down to the pier, and there is you know where the police sort of runabout is kept. This is not the first time you've had to work with the police department in this capacity. And sitting by the boat is Deputy Gary Duncan, and Gary is a enthusiastic, if a little bit slow, young gentleman who works for the sheriff, and he is sort of like sitting on the boat on a chair, sort of dozing a little bit. It's a small, smallish, not like tiny, but a small boat that they can use to sort of run around the bay. And he sort of like starts awake as you approach.
I raise my hand. Giselle raised her hand to be helped to board the boat.
Oh, Giselle. Hi. Nice to see you. Sheriff said that you might you and Marilyn might be coming by. So I made sure I was going to be available because I'm always real excited to see you. What is there? So I know about the murder. Are you helping again? This is great. This is you need the boat, right? No, of course you need the boat. Of course. Here, let me help you on the boat. He takes your hand.
She's wearing a sort of trench coat to protect herself from the breeze of her floral dress, and once she's on the boat, would you have a cigarette, deputy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't I don't smoke. But if you have one, you're welcome. I mean, we're on the fresh sea air, so do what you like. Rule law of the sea, right?
I guess I will smoke one of my own then.
As soon as she is lighting it, I go, Giselle, you said you were quitting.
I said I would be quitting those silly investigations and let people die in this place, and accept the Darwinian nature of what was going on. I would go back reading Albert Camus about or something like that.
I'm just gonna say, case cigarettes are still cheating. Just this is the last one. I'm telling you, this is the last one.
Of course it is. Each one. She Giselle will be at the bow of the boat as it's making its way forward in the breeze, smoking cigarettes in a trench coat.
I think I would be a little busy because I'm not particularly used to being in this.
Great, awesome. So yeah, the Gary pilots the boat out to the yacht, and it takes it's not too far out, but it's a slower boat. And Gary is a little bit unsure at the wheel, so it takes about 20-25 minutes to get out there. And as you approach, you you see this majestic yacht looming into view. And Gary, he's mostly quiet, but he does sort of lapse into a little ramble now and then. And as it sort of comes into view, he's just like, I didn't step foot on it. No, the sheriff took the lead on this one. I just made sure that that our little dinghy here is doing all right. But wow, that is some boat. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I can't even imagine how much something like that would cost. I bet I can't even imagine. Probably more than I make in my entire life.
Yeah, probably. Still, it's a rather small boat, actually.
And he pulls up, and there's like a little mooring area next to the yacht. It has like a little staircase on the outside with a little like a mini dock almost that you can pull the boat up next to. And you see that the name of the yacht is the Regal Lady. And it's probably about 8 p.m. right now in the evening. And yeah, so Gary pulls up to the yacht and sort of steps out and does the ropey stuff and make sure everything's secured. And he says, I don't know if I'm supposed to go up with you. I'm happy to help, but I think Sheriff had me stay down last time, so I'm just gonna hang out here. And you're welcome to do what you like. And anytime you need anything, you just let me know, and I'll be here.
You do that. Stay here. That's the most helpful you can be.
I'll keep a lookout.
I'll let Giselle go up first, and then I go back to Gary and I go. Don't mind her. You know how she's. We'll come and get you if we need to.
Oh, that's awfully sweet. Thank you. Great. So there's like a little staircase that goes up the side of the boat, and you see at the top there is a older gentleman, gray hair and a tuxedo, standing at the top of the staircase.
Good evening, sir. Sorry to intrude at such a late time, but I roll my eyes. My phone's been ringing all afternoon. I believe I know someone in common with the mistress or master of this boat. My name is Giselle.
Yes, of course. And this is your companion, Marilyn? The sheriff phoned ahead of time to let us know that you would be arriving.
Yeah, Marilyn keeps track of the local Gotha and decent people news, and she insisted on joining. And I couldn't bear myself not to indulge in this small caprice over.
As soon as she says that, I get this expression of awe at the grandioseness of the boat.
Yeah, as you step up to the boat, what do you see on the boat that indicates that they have more money than they know what to do with?
I want to say statue of, I don't know, somewhere. Clearly they got it, I don't know, in another country or something like that. So
Mhm.
it's this weird statue that maybe doesn't complement anything,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
just like
clearly
there to
expensive.
just there to like
It's
show off that they can have it, not that it
Yeah,
goes with
yeah,
anybody.
yeah, to show off that they can have it.
it's a proper antique, but it's an eyesore on a
Yeah, yeah,
modern.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What does the statue look like?
I want to say an elephant. I have this golden elephant image.
Yeah, it's a golden elephant. What else?
Uh, I think think that they keep maintained and clean a swimming pool on the
Mhm.
deck of the boat, although it's really not the season or the region in the world to indulge in uh, having a swimming pool. Nobody's swimming in it in any way, but it's there. It's well lit. It's well maintained. It's not even there's no
Warm, yeah.
tarp over it, which would protect it when you are not using it, or you just empty it because even just the weight is it's quite stupid on a boat. But yeah, it's there.
Perfect. Great. The gentleman at the top of the stairs introduces himself. My name is Andrew. I am the family's butler, and I will do whatever I can to make your stay here as pleasant as the circumstances allow. I'm sure you've heard about the misfortune that Mr. Krauss experienced last night.
Yes,
Uh,
Maxine kept bringing that up. That's the reason we're here. I'm sure it's nothing, but Maxine needed some reassurance. Apparently, she has had troubles
Hmm.
reaching you.
Well, I'm afraid that Mr. Krauss is no longer with us.
it's
Yeah,
so
that's
terrible.
what I gathered. It's my condolences, by the way.
Of course. Um, would you like to speak with Mrs. Krauss about the fundraiser?
Yeah, well, usually it's the lady of the house who take care of such
Of course.
matters, I believe, unless Mr. Cross or maybe one of his son used to take care of those sort of things.
Oh no, Mrs. Krauss is quite uh, fond of throwing these little parties.
Hmm.
Allow me, would you prefer to wait on the deck? And he sort of gestures to a nice little outdoor seating area, and it has like a little pavilion tent outside on the deck with some chairs and some of like the stand-up heaters. It's like, would you prefer to wait outside here in the fresh air, or perhaps I can prepare you something in the lounge?
Well, I've been in society enough to understand your implication, but I'm going to be straight with you. This is all very quaint and nice, but the weather really, at my age, especially Marilyn's age, especially, I'm not that old, it might be not recommended to stay in the cold for too long.
Of course,
I,
please
I,
follow
I
me.
begin coughing.
And he leads you to so on the deck is quite large, and he leads you past the pavilion and the swimming pool. And actually, next to the swimming pool, there's a large hot tub next to the swimming pool, and there's a younger gentleman lounging in it. And although it is evening now, he is in there, and he's has headphones on, and he has sunglasses on in the hot tub. And Andrew leads you past the rest of the dock into a very tastelessly appointed but rich-looking lounge. There's overstuffed leather couches and a full bar, a big screen TV that is not on, and just lots of like very fancy little places to sit.
When we passed by the tub, I turned to Andrew and I said, I assume this is Mr. Cross' grieving son?
Yes, that is Mr. David. He grieves in his own way.
I ask Andrew for if Mrs. and Mrs. Krause have other children.
Oh, yes, of course. Sarah and Emily, the daughters. again, grieving in their own ways. The family, as I'm sure you understand, um, well, people of their station uh, have their own peculiarities that they allow themselves. Please,
Of course.
have a seat. Mrs. Kraus will be here momentarily. I will go fetch her. And
uh,
he lets you hang out in the lounge and wanders off.
uh, about the rail, the boat rail that officer sheriff. Why don't I understand my own typewriting?
Sheriff
Mentioned
Dalrymple.
Is it as high as he mentioned for someone to trip over the boat?
Let's go ahead and make a meddling roll for you and see what you notice. Let's do it with reason again, I think.
That will be another 9.
Great. Yes, you do notice that. Yeah. So you do notice that you take note as you go on, kind of maybe run your hand along the railing and sort of take note. And it is sort of chest high, so it would be very difficult to flop over. But in the process, you sort of you get a better sense of sort of where you are on the boat, even though it feels very solid. You like survey the area of the sea, and you get a definite sort of like a little vertigo lurch of seasickness again. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a condition for you. Make that seasick. So yeah, you definitely get that, and it is. It seems very, very unlikely that anyone would fall over that. As you're kind of surveying that on the way to the lounge, you hear some voices. So there's there's a sort of a walkway around the entire boat, and down further on the boat, there's clearly more rooms, and from one of the rooms further down, you hear 2 voices, and they seem to be having a heated argument. Two female voices, which kind of by the tone, one is older and one is younger. You don't really know what the daughters sound like, so you're not sure which one, but it definitely sounds like a heated argument between the mother and one of the daughters. And you can't make out the words they're saying, but they are saying them very loudly. That is a clue for you here. An argument between 2 of the suspects.
Marin, I was wondering if we could take advantage of this time to have a cozy move.
Yeah.
So when you have an intimate moment with another maven while one of you is engaged in your cozy, oh no, we need to be engaged in our cozy activity. My bad.
What's still going to ask of you, Giselle? What do you think of that brat child back there? He doesn't even seem moved by what happened to his dad.
I think that's at least one suspect we can dismiss from our list, because that one seems way too lazy to engage into murder, I would think. I'm not surprised. Men are not the most proactive most of the time. You know, they say there's always a great lady behind every great man. Well, often it's to give a shove across the railing of a boat.
I laugh, and I think you're right. He seems too lazy to engage in murder.
Great, and Andrew leaves you alone for a little bit, so you have a little bit of time to poke around if you like before Mrs. Kraus comes to greet you.
I think I would like to take a few pictures if possible.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. You can definitely just
Uh,
like snap some snaps with your phone.
and I don't know what's in the lounge, or how big is the lounge.
It's a fairly good size, maybe like 20 by 30 feet. Um, and it's got like a full bar that is unattended. Um, and you notice actually that there the bar behind the bar there it's clear that there used to be bottles, and there no longer are any liquor bottles at it anymore. But there's still a full set of glassware and sort of jars of cherries and olives and seltzer water and whatnot. The rest of the lounge is uh, tastelessly decorated in a very expensive way. Um, Clearly, again, kind of like the statue, most of the furnishings are there to show off more than to be functional or stylish.
I think Giselle's gonna help herself to the bar. Mix herself a gin and tonic. Hopefully, she finds a gin. Among all those pricey alcohols, there might be
Yeah, and
a
actually,
decent
there's
gin at
no
least.
there's no alcohol on the
No
ship at all,
bottles.
or
Oh,
in the bar at
okay.
all. There's just but you can pour yourself a tonic for sure.
No, I step back in disgust.
I I I go over there as well,
Mhm,
and I would like to check in the counters
mhm.
if there's like markings of the bottles being removed recently
Yeah, you definitely
or
can see that the like there are some of the like the bottom shelf is you know well kept, but you can tell there were bottles there. But definitely the more expensive liquors, you can see that there were places where there were bottles, but it's a little bit dusty or dirty around, so you can see the shapes of the bottoms
the
as if they were
shapes of the
removed
bottles.
recently. Yeah. Great. So after a short time, a graceful, actually well dressed woman enters the room, who you assume is Amanda, and she is um, visibly a little bit too visibly distraught, and she sort of glides in and offers her hand to Giselle. He's like, "Oh, you must be Giselle. I'm Amanda. I don't know if we've actually met before. Um, I hear you're friends with Maxine. It's terrible, isn't it? Ugh, I I put so much planning into this, and it's just there's just so much happening. It's impossible to concentrate. I'm sorry. Who's your friend here?
This is Marilyn. Sorry to bother you
Marilyn.
so late in the evening, but Maxine
Oh, it's
reached
no
out to
bother at
me.
all.
She thought you would need someone there for you in person in those difficult times. So she suggested that I pay you a visit. And Marilyn
Oh, of
here never
course.
had the privilege of
Oh,
getting on board of such a magnificent boat. So
of course. This is almost our second home, so please make yourselves at home as well. So
I step forward to greet her, tripping a bit
yes,
because of the
yeah.
movement.
A pleasure to meet you, darling.
Pleasure.
So are you here to help with Maxine's arrangements, or did you need something from me? They weren't very clear about what you were looking for.
well, Maxine was keen to make sure first above anything that you are well. What are you doing considering those
Oh,
circumstances?
I mean, of course you've heard about Albert. It's just a disaster. There's already so many things to plan, and of course, I'm devastated, but life has to go on, and this this ball is not going to throw itself. And I'm so glad I have people like you and Maxine to help. I just don't know what I would do.
Yeah, it's sadly in those difficult times, women like us tend to have to be the one who carry everybody around us. Has things been okay with your children? I know when I lost my Rene, that was a difficult time with my son. So he's sort of
Mm.
estranged. We are estranged right
Oh,
now.
oh, don't talk to me about David is just pulled into himself. He will not say a word to me. I almost, I mean, I can't imagine that he would blame me for anything that happened either tonight or in the past. But he's, you know how he is. I mean, maybe you don't. He is an artist. So
Oh,
yes, he's opened some galleries, and I don't know if you've been to Boston to visit any of our properties. Uh, he is very sensitive, and I think well, I don't know if he's taken it as hard as I have, but he's just beside himself.
yeah. Well,
Of
sons can be
course.
especially difficult.
I know, I know. You have a son, you said?
Yeah, sadly, I don't see him much since his father passed away.
Oh, that must have been very difficult for him. Tell me, how did he react when your husband died? Did he withdraw or act out, or I just don't know what to do with him? I mean, he's a grown man and everything, but he's still my little boy, and I feel a certain amount of responsibility, you know? So I'm just beside myself. I don't know what to do.
Well, if I with you, my son was quite defensive towards me, but I quickly found that it was rather overbearing.
Mm,
So, and it took it poorly when I told him to step back a bit from things and stop caring so much about the gossips. Because it's a high society like you and me. People tend to gossip. That's
I
just something
know.
that happens. I mean, whatever the circumstances. Rene was slightly older than I was, and of course, people talk. I'm sure people are talking
Of
about you. But I
course.
hear you have daughters to support you as well. That must help.
Yes, they're interesting in their own ways, but they are. I mean, Sarah especially. She's so sensitive. She just can't stop crying. Anyway, would you like to make a meddling move to see if you can get anything out of her?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe with presents. Have
Uh,
Giselle.
dice roller. Okay, so get 3 plus 3. That's a 6 plus my 2 in presence. That's a 8.
Great, perfect. Um, yeah, let's do this one. Um, she yeah. Um, well, uh, as she's talking about David, yeah, she's like, it was David's idea to take this trip in the first place. Um, he just said he wants to get away from the all the hustle and bustle of the world, and of course, as you say, people will gossip. But I try to take care of my children, and part of being a mother, I'm sure, as you know, is knowing what is happening with them, and well, going through some of, I mean, we have Andrew to do everything for us, but sometimes you feel like you have to take care of things yourself. So as I was straightening up David's room, I happened to go through some of his personal effects, and I believe that he might have a certain someone that he is coming here to Brindlewood to meet, not just for a vacation on the bay, but I believe that he actually has taken a lover here in Brindlewood Bay, and I can't tell exactly who it is, but the way that he writes about, I mean, the way that I understand it, someone that might not be approved of, if it were discovered.
People can be rather dismissive and selective. So someone
Of
local
course.
then.
I imagine, yes.
Oh, well, Marilyn knows everybody here. I must say,
Oh,
I
really?
moved to Brindlewood Bay to sort of disconnect with society a bit.
I
I'm a bit
understand
of a recluse, but
completely.
Marilyn knows everybody here. Maybe she could tell you more about that mysterious
T-
person
Tell
your
us,
son is interested in.
tell us a little bit more. Yes, I would be glad to tell you about whoever it might be.
Well, I am not as fluent as one might say. See, he has reasons to every boy, no matter how young or old, has reasons to want to keep his privacy. And he knows that I am not good with languages, and his diary is entirely written in French. So I
Oh,
can't make out all of the words, but I can put two
oh
and
la
two
la.
together.
Well,
Um,
Giselle here spent so many years in the Riviera, so maybe she can help you read it.
of course. Why don't I introduce you? Um, Marilyn, would you mind? You're kind of Giselle's assistant, right? Would you mind coordinating with Andrew to get some late night snacks together while we talk with David?
I look at Giselle with this expression like this always happens because you introduced me like your assistant, and I compose myself and yes, of course I wouldn't mind helping Andrew.
Of course. Just wait here, and I'll send Andrew around you while we speak with David.
I think
And
there's a
she sort of
series of there's a series of flashbacks, quickly edited because you see like half a dozen occurrences where she says, "Next time you will be the I'll be the assistant. Next time I'll be the assistant," and each time our outfits change into something wackier. Like,
Yes,
next time
yes,
you'll be the assistant.
I love it.
yes.
Um, Great, and Amanda takes Giselle's hand and sort of like leads her out, leaving Marilyn alone in the
Yeah,
lobby.
elbows over
Yeah,
elbows.
like oh, great. Let's take a little break, like a 5 minute break.
Yeah, sure.
Um, yeah, and we'll come back at 12:40 or so. Great, cool, awesome. This is so much fun so far. See you in 5.
See you in 5. Here.
Hello.
It's kind of chilly. Not
Yeah,
really, but kind of.
we actually are getting snow right now here in Austin, Texas.
Uh, uh, I've always pictured Austin like this super hot place. I wasn't
It
aware.
usually is. It's summers. We usually have a few months in a row of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is very unusual.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds unusual. Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Great. So we are here on the Royal Lady, and Amanda Kraus is leading Giselle over to speak with David at the hot tub, and she's sort of just like patting your arm and chatting gently as you head over. And when you get there, he's just sort of like submerged up to his chin in the warm. The waters are like steaming in the cool evening, and just has like earbuds in and sunglasses on, even though it is nighttime, and doesn't really acknowledge you as you come up. And Amanda is just like, David, David, David. And she doesn't like touch him, but she kind of like waves her hand in front of him and like, does a little. And it's not clear if he was sleeping or just ignoring her, but eventually he just kind of like turns his head, and then you can't see him looking at you, but he turns his head a little bit slightly again, so it's clear that he is regarding Marilyn as well, and just sighs. What, mother?
So all of us are here, or just Marilyn?
Yeah,
Just
just
Giselle or
Giselle.
me.
Yeah. Or which one is which?
Just
I mean, that's
just yeah,
just Giselle. Okay.
yeah. It's like this is my new friend Giselle, and she wanted to talk to you a little bit. Would
Enchanté. And
oh
I give my hand.
oh and so Enchanté, of course. And he like lifts his hand lugubriously out of the water, and it's just dripping. And he takes it and gives you a little shake. Um,
Your mother
so
was
who are
telling me
you?
that you are quite an artist.
Yes. Are you here to try and get something into the gallery?
No, not really. I
Good.
was sorry. Quoi? Sorry, thanks.
Hydration good.
The butler of Andrew. Uh, stay hydrated. It's important when you're streaming, otherwise you make sick. No. I was just sent here by Maxine to make sure that your mother was well, and your mother brought up that you were into the arts. So I used
Yeah,
to visit
you
quite
could
a few
say
galleries on the continent
into the
back.
art. Oh, really? Which ones? Maybe I've heard of them. Maybe not. I don't really go in for classical art so much. I mean, look at any sort of like gestures to the giant gold elephant. Just because things are old don't mean they are worthwhile. It sort of stumps back in a little bit more.
I so Giselle will get out of her boots because she
Hmm.
still had her boots, and with naked feet she will sit on the side of the hot tub and raise a bit her trench coat, revealing her legs, and put her feet in the hot tub.
Great.
Yeah, but you know, you should not be dismissive of something somewhat ancient. You might find they can be still worthy of your interest. And she crosses her legs.
Oh, really? What do you have that might interest me?
I don't know, but
He
one
sort of
should
takes out his sunglasses
never
and
expect to get things just served on a plate. Or boring would life be if things were that way?
speaking of, I don't know where Ander is, but um, I'm sorry, I've been very rude. Mother, can you find Andrew for us, please? And she's like, of course, and wanders off. He's like, I'm sorry, Mother's been very rude. My name is David, David Kraus of the Kraus Gallery in Boston. And you are,
My name is Giselle, and
hmm,
with one of my bare feet, I put my feet on his chest and I push him against the back of his seat.
he is surprised.
So, what's going on here, David? I heard you had and I touch him with the tip of my big toe, an interest in something French in Brindlewood Bay. You've been naughty, but hiding your things poorly. Your mother found them. What is that all about? I'm curious.
Um, what would you like to make a night move to try to get see how he reacts here?
Yeah, how does that work?
um, so you're looks seems like you're trying to either intimidate or entice him to do something.
Yeah.
um, what do you feel? What are you afraid that might happen if this does not go well for you?
So if it does not go well for me, what I hope is that I come across as uh, intimidating. So
Hmm.
what I don't want to happen is that he's into it. Actually,
Yeah.
so the worst thing that could happen is that he would take the bait and would really be into it and would try to go further with that. What I
Yeah.
The ideal scenario is more is intimidated and disturbed by what's going on, which makes him just give away information.
Yeah, and even worse, he'll not only be into it, but insist that you
Yeah,
stay on the boat and uh, basically try to drag you away with him to Boston.
yeah, this
Um,
sort of things.
yeah,
Don't want that to
um,
happen.
great. Let's make a move here with presence, I think. So you roll 2 dice plus your presence.
Okay, a 3 or 4. That's 7 plus 2, 9.
Great. um, yeah, so he is shocked and sort of like grabs your ankle and pulls you into the hot tub, uh,
Oh
and
wow!
and your clothes are just soaked. The hot tub is warm, so it's not a problem while you're in the hot tub, but you may get a condition when you get out into the brisk air. Um, and he's like, no one does that to me, and I'm impressed. Uh, I'm afraid you're barking up the wrong tree for any number of reasons, but please join me. And he sort of like gestures to the hot tub as if it is like a seating area he has invited you into. Um, Meanwhile, in the lounge, um, uh, it's not too long after Giselle heads out that uh, a younger woman in her mid 20s sort of wanders into the lounge, and she has one of the larger phones, and it's got like a little jeweled case and one of the little handhold things, and she is just sort of really not paying attention to her surroundings and sort of pecking away at the phone. She has sort of dark bob hair, and dressed pretty plainly. She's not dressed fancy. It's like the clothes um, are you can tell that they're expensive but not gaudy. There's like a very nice t-shirt and very nice, but not ostentatious. Like she's trying to kind of be not seen almost. And she just sort of wanders in as she's pecking away at her phone, and sort of plops herself down at one of the seats at the bar and sort of puts her phone down on the bar and continues to poke at it. She
I
doesn't take
got
any notice of you.
I go towards her while coughing to make my presence known. Sort of. Hi, darling. You must be Emily, right?
And without looking, she's like, "Yeah, who are you?"
Uh, and I extend my hand to her, and I go, "I'm Merlin, with the local paper." Calling back to what Giselle was mentioning.
Yeah, she looks up at you and she's like, "Oh, you're a reporter. Hear about Dad?"
No. Well, I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry to hear about your father, but we heard you were coming here, and I run the gossip column, and
Oh,
just
you want to talk to David then? Ugh.
and I look around, and just about your family and this amazing boat of yours.
Mm.
So I don't know if you have a moment to talk about why you are coming here to Brindlewood Bay.
I just come here because Mom and Dad make me come here. They don't trust me alone at the house for some reason. It's a big family time, so here I am, spending time with my family. And she gestures to the otherwise empty lounge.
Empty lounge. I see. And tell me, honey, what are you doing with I don't know, the thing about your dad? You must be, and this is, I don't know if it's sarcastic or otherwise, but uh, you must be very very sad about what happened.
Yeah, and her face is kind of like expressionless, like, I suppose.
And I have another friend actually talking with your brother right now, I think, and so it's three of you, right? The Krause children.
Yeah, me and Sarah and David.
How old would she be?
She's probably like 24, 25.
Okay. And so tell me, do you have any plans while we are here at Grindelwood?
Just the same as I'd be doing normally, just talking with my friends. Well, everyone else ignores me.
And
And she's like continuing to tap away on her phone as she's kind of absentmindedly talking to you.
I sit beside her, and I ask her about uh, and tell me, eh, still like looking around, kind of trying to make small talk.
Mhm.
Uh, about that. So, did you happen to catch what happened to your dad? I actually didn't heard about it until I was in the boat, so I'm still a bit in shock about what happened and the piece I'm supposed to be writing.
No, he just got drunk and fell overboard and drowned, I guess. And Sarah freaked out, and now here we are talking to all sorts of people coming to talk to us, which I suppose would be fine, but I have plenty of people to talk to already. So you said you're a reporter?
I write some pieces for the paper. I wouldn't call myself a reporter, but uh, I sometimes get into this kind of stuff where I go talk to important families trying to like defer to her with important families that come into town and that sort of stuff. You know, we're in a small town, so this kind of thing
Mm.
is sometimes an event.
Yeah, Brindlewood is basically just a stopover, I guess. I don't even know why we're here. Would you like to make a meddling roll to see if we can get anything out of her?
Uh,
I think this would be with presence for sure. So it'd be 2 dice.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I would like to because I want to somehow bring up that there's no bottles and her
Yeah.
dad is supposed to have gotten drunk. So that will be a five. No, a
um,
six, a six, a
at
six.
6. Great. Um, yeah. So she just looks up at you and she's like, I know exactly who you are and what you're doing.
Uh, I I got a little bit like shocked, and I no, honey, I'm sure you got it wrong. I'm just, as I told you, confused by the whole situation. I was supposed to be doing something else here, and I'm just trying to process what's happened, or let me know if I'm imposing myself. It's just this. We're in a small town, and you know
Uh,
what happened.
and
Is
she slides the bar stool she's sitting on closer to you and turns her phone over and puts her face closer to yours. She says, your name is Marilyn. You live here in Brindlewood and you run some sort of little mystery club. And the cops here are incompetent and they always ask you for help. You think I can't do any research myself? I know why you're here, and you think someone here killed Dad. No one here killed Dad. He was just an asshole who got drunk. And I'm just going to ask Andrew to ask you to leave, and then you're going to leave our family alone.
I
Great?
I get serious. I like kind of sort my outfit. I go,
Mhm.
okay, honey, look, you got it all right, but you have to know. And I turn into the bar. If
Mhm.
your dad got drunk, why are there no bottles in the bar? It's you just
Because
have to know
Sarah
that's very
freaked out
weird.
this morning when she found out and threw all the alcohol overboard. You
I
got.
think I would stand up,
Mhm.
look at her, and I go like, well, thank you for your time, and I'm sorry about your loss, and I can see you are grieving right now. There's no need to be as rude as you are being, so I'm gonna leave.
And as you're getting up, Andrew enters the room and he's like, yes, miss, you texted me. You'd prefer these women leave us alone? He's like, yes, please, Andrew, get them away from us. And he's like, I'm terribly sorry, man, but I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up your business here and um, perhaps come back another time.
I stand up, I follow Andrew, and uh, of course.
I just realized that we didn't do the thing at the beginning where you got a something pressed into your hand.
That's right.
Yeah, and so as you were leaving the library, I think we'll just do a little flashback scene. Um, as you were leaving the library, Charlotte sort of was like, "Oh, thank you so much for coming," and she like gives you a look, and in your hand is like a key card, like a hotel swipe card. It's like, you might need this later. Good night. Have a good night. And so you have a key card that you can sort of use as a clue at some point if you would like.
Okay. That sounds good.
Back at the hot tub, David has like lowered his sunglasses so like you can make eye contact, and he is very amused that he has this older woman in the hot tub with him, fully dressed. He's like, so you're not here, you're not here to talk to me about art. So what are you here for? You've
I'm
piqued my
here.
interest.
I'm here to find out who dragged father and threw him overboard.
Well, there's only us here, so that kind of narrows it down, doesn't it?
It does, yes. I don't think you're suspect though.
Oh, are you trying to lure me into a false sense of security by doing whatever you're doing here? He kind of like looks you up and down a little bit.
You're not that old. I thought your generation stopped watching cable TV and those kind of stupid shows.
No, we have varied interests. I don't really have a lot of time to watch TV. I don't have one myself, except for the ones that are everywhere. I'm more interested in keeping up to date with the avant-garde of the art world right now. Do you enjoy art much?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, although, uh, well, what I guess we would both call art with a big A rather than some indulging things, and I look towards the elephant
Hmm.
in the room.
No, that is a prime example of capital A art, which I feel is the most indulgent. Is though people who create art can't create without someone watching them and judging them. And although the people who watch them and judge them and criticize them and write newspaper columns about them can't create art themselves, they feel like their own contribution to the art world is just talking about what other people do. I find it much more interesting to help artists create art and occasionally dabble myself, although I am completely without talent. Have a good eye, however.
What do you mean without talent? I mean, I know that usually it's frowned upon in terms of having real talent while being surrounded by this much privilege. Usually,
This much garbage. I mean, look at this. You would think that with father and mother's money, they could afford some taste, but no, they just spend whatever they want on the most garish, meaningless things. Where, look, when I say that I have no talent myself, when I was a boy, of course, I was encouraged to try any number of things, and I sort of fell into enjoying art, and I thought I could make it as an artist myself, especially with my family's resources. I could do whatever I want, but I feel like taste developed quicker than my talent did, and I was just disgusted with everything I made. And although to the untrained eye, modern art may seem arbitrary and chaotic, one can tell when there is true purpose behind it. And I could pass off my trivialities as fine art, but I refuse to. I will seek out those with true vision and give them the opportunity to show it to the world. Are you familiar with the performance artist Gaobai? He was so committed to his artwork, he threw himself from the top of a 5-story building as his final artistic experience. That is meaningful.
well, I used to hang around a few Austrian artists who would swallow razor blades as their own artistic intervention. So you're
That is what
more
I'm talking about.
you're more a patron of the arts than yourself.
Exactly. And
Well,
people may shun me for it or for whatever other reasons, but I don't care what they think. I do what I like. That's how I use my privilege.
and your father was supportive of your use of your privilege.
No, he wanted me to go into finance. It's just impossible.
Your work as a
I'm not
patron
one.
was not lucrative yet.
Not at all. Father viewed me purely as a drain on his finances. art is not for commerce. Art is for bringing out the fire within, and sometimes you have to burn some money to fuel that fire.
Well, the art
And
is lucky to have people like you.
at this point, I think is when Andrew is leading Marilyn out and probably gestures over to you.
A gesture back.
As soon as I'm gesturing and I get this face of something went wrong, followed by another face of why are you in the hot tub?
Yeah, and Andrew walks over. He's like, "Your presence has been requested elsewhere. I've been instructed to escort you off of the boat. Perhaps you can join us another time."
I will be happy to go back to the shore, but I assume you could help me find a changing. As you've seen, I have how clumsy of me. I've slipped and joined your Mr. What's his name again?
David.
Young Mr. Crows in the step. Those things are slippery in there. Would you have something for me to change and maybe a place where I can do so?
Of course, please follow me. He turns and walks, and there's a series of small cabanas along the side of the swimming pool. And,
oh, really? Wow.
He leads you over there, and he's like, "Please feel free to borrow any of the." There's like a very very soft, comfortable white bathrobes. And there's like, "Please avail yourselves of the changing area and any robes or towels that you might require." I will meet you at the top of the gangplank, the exit stairs.
The gangplank. Okay. Okay. Well, I will change, but keep an eye. I mean, if there's a gap or anything in the changing thing, keep an eye on what is going on outside of my changing locker.
I think I would go to the locker to kind of like guarding it but at the same time whispering towards Giselle what happened and about the bottles. And especially about Sarah throwing the bottles overboard.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
See, that's why you never. That's why you always the assistant.
And you're definitely. It is a chilly night, so we're going to give you a chilled condition if that comes up. And so yeah, you could come out wrapped up in one of the big cozy bathrobes and have your wet clothes with you. And David is sort of sunken back in and put his glasses back down, disappointed that he has finally met someone interesting.
I will give David a wink and nod towards the changing room that I left, and I left a bra there.
Nice. Great. Marilyn, anything you'd like to do on the way out?
No, I think no, right now, no. I think I'm just trying to sort of preserve our dignity despite what's transpired here. Cool. Trying to be very dignified as we go down the boat.
Yeah, and as you exit, Andrew actually passes you a small business card, Giselle. It's like, if you require anything else, Mr. David has instructed me to let you know to contact him if you have any further inquiries. Have a good evening. And Gary is in the boat. He's just like reading like the manual for the radio in the boat. So, this is his fun time. He sees you coming to the boat. He's like, "Oh, how did it go? Did you find out who it is? Who did it? Who did it? Who do you think did it?"
Someone with a very large bucket of water, deputy.
It was the butler, wasn't it? It's always the butler, right? I haven't read any of the Gold Crown mystery books, but I'm pretty sure like that's a thing that happens, right?
Of course it does. And Giselle pulls out a pack of cigarettes and pulls one. It's all wet, and she puts it back and throws it overboard into the sea.
Nice. Yeah. So Gary. Gary takes you back to shore again, and it's getting pretty late now, 10 o'clock. And there's still a lot of tourists out in the area. The sort of like tourist downtown is usually pretty brisk. Brindlewood Bay is a nice little touristy town. What like when there's tourists around like this, what ways does having them around make it difficult for you to sort of do what you like to do in town?
Having what? Sorry? Having tourists around.
Yeah.
Tourists around. I think it will be mostly like the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes it hard to to eavesdrop on people, to clearly eavesdrop on people when we need to.
What else?
I mean, the place is sort of so popular that it's difficult to get around. It's kind of crowded, so you need to make your elbow your way through. And since we're not especially physical, it's difficult. Also, it makes people difficult to follow around and easy to get lost in the crowd.
Awesome, great. Yeah, there's definitely since the Gary pulls up the boat to the pier, and he's like, "So I don't suppose you'll be needing me for the rest of the night. I'm going to go home and get some shut eye. I bet it's going to be a busy weekend, right?" And he sort of like gives you one of those. And yeah, the pier downtown where the boat is moored is kind of like on the edge of the sort of like it's a sort of like a tourist attraction. It's got it's where the fish market is. It's got like souvenir shops and like a fudge shop and stuff like that. And there's a couple little like quaint little bar restaurants that people are sort of finishing up their evenings in. It's probably 9 or 10 o'clock by now, and so it's a Friday night, and it's height of tourist season, and there's just people all over the place. What do you hear?
First of all, I say to Giselle, I know why you don't like Gary. He's always so nice to you. As I begin to walk towards the fish market, and I also say, I hope you're ready to get a bit more chilly tonight.
Yeah, I think I'll stop by. There's a on the edge of the pier, like at the very beginning, so it's not a large detour. There's a sort of a stall where they sell clam chowder, a hot drink.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get myself some before. Do you have a car, Marilyn? I mean, we did not establish anything like that. I don't see myself having a car.
I think I would. I think I would
Yeah.
have a car. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
car
Yeah.
would that be?
Probably.
Yeah.
Um, I think. I think Andrea was kind of this fan of older cars, so it's
Mhm.
kind of I want to say these large Lincoln cars or something
Oh
like
wow.
that.
Nice.
That she always planned to what's the word, to repair and all sort of that,
Like restore. Yeah.
restore. Yeah. And I know near to nothing about cars, so it's just been getting worse and worse. But I can't bring myself to get rid of the car.
Nice.
Oh. Well, would you mind driving me home?
Uh, I of course not, but I don't know what time does the fish market will until what time the fish market will allow us to go see the body of Mr.
Oh,
Krause.
oh, we wanted to go to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I guess we can go there. So we get my shoulder. That would be eating my clam shoulder as we looked on the body, and Giselle is like, not.
Uh,
Yeah. She's still got an appetite at this point.
uh,
So I guess we can cut directly to being in front of the body. And I'm drinking my shoulder in front
um,
of it at
I'm,
the
I'm
Corona.
also sure I would have like at least a couple of coats, either mine or yours, in the car for you
right.
Oh yeah, blankets
to layer
like
up. Yeah,
very
yeah,
bad
yeah,
checkered
Cuddling up.
blanket.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there's actually quite a crowd around the fish market. Even it's probably closing relatively soon, but there's the fishmonger Etienne who works there, who is kind of a local attraction, and he's the one he kind of like put on a show of like showing off all the fish, and he has this like a very like weirdly stereotypical French accent that he does for all the tourists. He's like, le poisson, here you go, and he's like throwing him around, and he's people like order from him, and he's like, throw over here, and he does that. He's kind of an older man with he's got a like a big silver beard and kind of like a red fisherman's cap, and like all it's like almost like a little. Like a street performance he does in front of the fishmongers, and all the tourists come in, and like he finishes up, and people like push in to get get their fresh fish and their chowder and whatnot. And I think both of you know him very well because he's a local attraction, and he's an interesting personality to be around.
So Etienne, tell me, as a French compatriot, I've heard of a wealthy fan of art apparently being enamored with a local of Brindlewood Bay who would happen to be able to read French. Would you have any idea who that young person would be?
And as he talks to you, like his accent sort of drops to a normal level. Uh, he's just Giselle, who have you been talking to?
You heard of the crows and their inability to swim at night?
I suppose I've heard a little bit.
Yeah, they went the Jean-Jacques Cousteau way, but his later works. Uh,
I mean,
but apparently
the
the son would have a lover to who he writes in French, who would be in Brindlewood Bay.
let's make a meddling roll for you.
For a second,
I'll
I
do
thought
it.
it might be Etienne himself. So when you describe an older man, I was like, maybe not.
It might be. Let's do it with presence.
Okay, my dice roller. 7, 9.
9, great. Um,
No, it's not
yeah.
great.
It's not a 6. Of course, yeah, I'm familiar with the crosses. the sheriff approached me because they know I'm not a close friend of the family, but a friend nonetheless. And so I have allowed the sheriff to uh, keep the father in state here while investigations are made until proper arrangements can be made. And I have something fell out of the jacket of the father. It's probably nothing, but I know you're working with the sheriff. Yes.
I turn to Marilyn.
Of course, we're always working with the sheriff.
Then yeah, you must have this then. And he hands you an envelope, and it is wet, but it's dried a little bit, but it's still like has clearly been soggy in water. And on it's been opened, and inside there's just a slip of paper with just a stream of random numbers, probably a couple hundred of them, just in a block of text on this paper, and there's no other identifying identification for what the numbers might be. And again, it's just like this was. It seems important. The envelope is fancy. Um, it's it was the only thing he had on his person. I took the liberty of making sure there was nothing in his pockets that could hurt the fish, you know. And but I didn't want to talk to the sheriff because you know how he is. He's a very gruff man. And I thought he would eventually enlist your services, so I kept this just for you, Giselle.
Thanks. I look at it, roll my eyes. Maths. It's more your thing, Marilyn.
I I think I examine it for a while, and I go back to Giselle. I look back to Giselle and to a fishmonger, and I say, "Would you mind if we go in and look at the body?"
Of course not. Of course not. I have to warn you though. Although I have kept this from the sheriff, I could not keep him away from Mr. Kraus. So he is returned to look at the body, and he has brought Mr. Kim from the coroner's office, and they're doing some sort of thing to the body back in the. I don't want to ask. I just asked him that he keep it away from the fish. You know,
Of course, of course.
it's a dead fish and a dead man. They're different things. But please, please show yourself in. And he shows you in. There's like the building that the fish market in is kind of like a long building, kind of like has the stores and shops on either side of it, facing the outside, and on the inside is like where all like the storage is and whatnot, and in the fish market, which is kind of on the end, that's where they have all the fish preparation stuff. So there's as you walk in, there's a sort of like a large kitchen with steel tables that have various fish in various states of being prepared, and a large sort of a cooler with a very large lid that is filled with ice, and there's some fish in it. The lid is open, and it's probably about 10 feet long, and inside it is the body of Mr. Kraus. Standing over the freezer is Sheriff Dalrymple and Mr. Kim from the coroner's office, who has a white sort of lab coat, looking like a white coroner's coat on, and he is doing something like looking at the body somehow. And the sheriff turns around and sees you come in. It's like, well, what you got, ladies?
Just before as we are walking, I think I would snap a picture of the numbers and maybe begin searching just quickly in the way if there's I don't know if this long string of numbers will be something I don't know of banking or computers
Hmm.
or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
it might be. It looks like it's too long to be any sort of banking or stocks or anything like that. The closest you're able to find in a short amount of time is it might be some sort of like encryption key or some sort of code or something like that. But you can't come up with anything specific.
Okay,
so
okay, okay.
when the sheriff asks, "So what you got?" I look at what Giselle look at what she's got in her hands, and she says, "Well, I got a bowl of Etienne's contest-winning classic clam chowder, and it's kind of fuming in the the cold space. I don't know if I can add that as my favorite dish in the cozy little place."
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Well, how does that work, or do you invoke those, or what do
Yeah,
you do with the?
if you use it in if you can incorporate it into a scene somehow, then you can roll with advantage in that scene.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Um, yeah, the sheriff is just like, well, I figured since you were off talking with the cruises and I couldn't put the body in the morgue, I just bring Mr. Kim up here to have a look, see if there's anything interesting that we could find. I know you're not medically inclined.
Are you?
I'm not, but Mr. Kim here is.
So, Mr. Kim, did you find anything of interest?
Um, yeah, so he's got like little forceps and like a little glasses that let him like a sort of like reading glasses, and he's like, um, I've I've done an external examination and I don't see any signs of bruising or trauma or anything. So I'm about to check. Well, I don't know how much gory detail you're comfortable with, but I'm about to perform a more intrusive investigation. If that's not something you're interested in watching.
I think Giselle is just slurping a clam chowder when he says gory details. She's like,
And Sheriff's just like, all right, go ahead. Let's have who would like to observe the examination more closely?
I think I would like to.
Cool. Let's have you make a meddling roll with composure.
That's an 11.
Nice.
nice.
Great. So let's see what do we have here. Oh boy. Yeah. So he Mr. Kim is like, all right, and he leans down and starts sort of rooting around in, opens the mouth and starts rooting around in there with his little forceps. He inspects like the eyes, nose, ears, and he sort of looks at the sheriff. And the sheriff's like, Mr. Kim draws out a scalpel and begins making incision down the chest, opens it up, and you've actually been present for an autopsy before, so it's not uh, you're fine with all this. This is just part of the, and it's kind of like a little bit exciting because this is part of the murder mystery stuff that is described in the books, that you find kind of fascinating in real
Fascinating,
life.
yeah.
And so he starts going into organs and stuff, and he sort of takes stuff out. And there's like there's a fish scale that he has like moved over, and he like takes out the heart, weighs it, like writes something down, takes out the stomach, weighs it, and as he's rooting around in there, he has his gloves on, and he pulls out from the stomach area. I was like, what is this? And he like it's got it's covered with like bile and blood and whatnot. And he sort of takes there's various fish cleaning things around, so he takes some water and swishes it around. and it's actually a quite large diamond earring that was in his stomach. I was like, well, there's something you don't see every day. And he sort of holds it up to you and the sheriff, and plunks it in a little steel tray. Uh, I don't imagine, I know rich folks have strange proclivities, but I've never seen anyone eat a diamond for dinner before.
In what style would the earring be? I mean, will it belong to Amanda or to one of his daughters?
It looks like a woman's earring. It is pretty large. It's a dangle earring, so it's got a little silver clasp and little hangy thing, and then a diamond in a setting that is relatively large and
Okay.
probably very, very expensive.
I want to
Okay.
It's
say,
only the one.
go ahead, Marilyn. Sorry.
Now I'm just thinking if I mean if it being so large or expensive, if it belonged to Amanda, uh,
Mhm.
because I'm still not surprised, but uh, discomforted by the fact that she wasn't moved at all, or that she wouldn't even consider moving the date of the fundraising.
Right.
So I don't know.
This hearing in such a peculiar style, this reminds me, Marilyn, of something that happened to Amanda de la Cour.
Nice.
So I'd like to invoke the Gold Crown Mysteries move. Once
Yeah.
per session, when a Maven says, "This reminds me of something that happened to Amanda de la Cour," work with the other players to describe how something that is happening in the situation reminds the Mavens of an event from one of the Gold Crown Mysteries. At a minimum, you must provide the following information: the name of the Gold Crown Mystery in question, no repeats, well, it's the first time. The problem or situation that Amanda found herself in that is similar to what the Mavens are experiencing, and how Amanda eventually overcame the problem and resolved the situation.
Yeah. So
So,
what's the name of the mystery that it reminds you of?
Marilyn?
Um, I want something with the word jeweler in it.
Yeah,
The
okay. Uh,
the meddling jeweler.
Nice.
uh, the yeah, the meddling jeweler. Uh, the meddling jeweler's earring.
Cool. And how did it relate to the mystery in the book?
So, in the mystery, it revolved also around an earring, which was quite unique in its design, and how it was all about finding the person with the second one.
Mm, cool.
Marin, would you
Um,
know how Amanda, the character, overcame the problem and resolved the situation?
I think. mm what will it be? I because what I have in mind, but I'm not sure how would we incorporate it. Is like um, this moment of the the characters in the story in the book going out, and she bringing out the person, the criminal bringing out her jewelry box, and
mhm.
that one earring missing, but I'm not sure how would we incorporate that.
Or I think the way it worked is that Amanda kept looking for the bearer of the earring. People
Mm,
kept looking for the bearer of the earring of the second earring. What turned out in the story is that the second earring got disposed of course.
Mhm.
But in the end, Amanda solved it because there was a painting featuring those earrings of one of the
Yeah,
characters. So,
That's amazing.
so my
yeah, and
suggestion, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
go for it. No, you go.
My,
Give me a second, please.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There. Sorry.
So my suggestion, so it says then take a 12 plus to a single relevant role, or
Mhm,
state a fact about the current situation that the keeper must incorporate.
mhm.
So I detented, if you agree, Marilyn, that either one of us that we saw a photograph or a painting
Mhm.
featuring this earring somewhere, can be anywhere we went from the beginning of the session, somewhere and the keeper decides where and who was wearing that earring.
Maybe you came across a picture of Amanda wearing a set of earrings that looks like that in your microfiche. Uh, so you've definitely seen Amanda wearing those earrings. You're pretty sure that is one of hers.
Hmm, cool. So we can add that to our clues then.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
That's awesome.
I really like this system. I'm really tempted to try to run it.
Yeah, it's very easy to run. It's very it's kind of does itself as long as you go along with
I'm
everything.
slowly. I got a sort of love-hate relationship to everything PBTA
Mm,
because either it really does it for me or it really doesn't. And as a
yeah.
game master, I'm only now after playing several with people who are very fluent with them, I am starting to get how, as a game master, I could run it myself because people say it's easier than other more crunchy game. I don't agree. I think it's different.
It is
It's
different.
not
Yeah, it
easier.
is. I honestly am a very lazy GM, so I prefer this kind. So but it takes some people like preparing a lot and then like going with their preparation. I like having a little bit and then being very open to letting whatever happens happen. I think a lot of people who like preparing a lot are not as good at going along with what happens. So it's definitely more for the people who like a little bit of setup and then like just going. That's definitely where I'm at. But it's yeah, it's not for everyone, for sure. And it does take a little bit of practice. I think is the skill.
Okay, till what time are we playing today, and what's the plan, or do you see for those the two of you see the session?
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clues. One of the suggestions for a one shot is to make the difficulty 4 instead of 6. So instead of if you wanted to put these clues together and try to solve, you would roll and add 1, and that would be we would use that for the theorize move. I would also like, since you used the Gold Crown Mysteries move, I would like to throw in a void clue here for you as well as you pull that, um, as you pull, as the ring clinks into the metal pan. Um, uh, Marilyn was the one who was more closely watching the autopsy, right? As you sort of like you the ring or the earring clinks into the pan, and uh, as you hear that sound, you feel a little bit of that vertigo happening again, and you look down into the freezer where the body is, and your eye sort of moves to some of the fish that are still in the freezer with the body, and you're still a little bit dizzy, like sort of grab onto the side of the freezer to steady yourself. And as you do, um, the eyelid of one of the fishes opens and the eye turns and looks at you. and the fish's mouth is a little bit open, like how fishes are, and you swear you hear the word uh, void coming out of its mouth. And you sort of shake and look, and the fish's eye is back to normal. You swear you heard the fish talk to you, though. That'll be one of your void clues for that. Cool. So if you feel like you have uh, enough to use these 5 clues to put together a theory about who did it, we can talk about that and then make a roll and see what happens. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I got
That sounds.
yeah.
Awesome.
So so what so I think it would be cool if we can include a maximum of clues. I think it's funny that we ended up with a lot of characters and PCs with French first
I
names.
know.
I so what I think I'd like to do is that uh, so okay, I think that um, y- yeah, so I think Charlotte the librarian did it.
All right.
So I think she's
How do we work these clues in?
she's the taboo love affair of David, who
Mm,
gifted the earrings to her. Actually, there's a flashback. Giselle, when she made a comment. So you see the flashback when Giselle said, "Well, I know what you're doing with your
mm,
after dark reading sessions." Actually, she noticed that she was a bit on the earlobe, a bit Charlotte, which Giselle interpreted as something somewhat kinky.
mm,
Actually, what happened is that as she was leaving the boat after spending some time with David, she was surprised by his father, who reacted violently, and she
mm.
pushed him. She had kind of a struggle with him, which ended up with him being pushed aside, pushed overboard. But in the process, he sort of bit her earlobe a bit and swallowed the hearing in such way. The sequence of numbers written on the slip of paper is actually, the numbers, the how do you call that?
I like the decimal numbers for the library,
Yeah, to
like the
find a
book
book.
organization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the it's just the IGDN. Or, no, not IGDN.
There's a Dewey Decimal, and
Yeah.
there's a Library of Congress, and I think there's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sequence for something like that. So actually, it was just
Nice.
a book recommendation. Do you want that two things? Are there clues that you can include
Yeah.
in some
Or do
way,
you want to
Mary?
incorporate? If you can incorporate the key card she gave you too, that can add another plus to the roll.
Oh,
If you want to figure out a way that works in.
I
Um,
I'm not sure. I think she knowing that we were heading towards the crows,
mm,
and the way that she just went like, you might need this.
mm.
Maybe she was trying to uh,
Give you a
confuse
false lead,
us.
kind of
Give us a false lead.
red
Yeah,
herring.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
well, at least it explained how she got it in the first place. Uh,
What about the argument on the ship?
Uh, I think we never saw Sarah, and I think she would be the one who was yelling
Oh
with her
yeah,
mother. So maybe, and her mother mentioned Sarah was crying
hmm
since the previous day. So maybe she's the one who was upset at her dad's death, and she was sort of going at her about at least postponing the fundraiser or something like
hmm
that.
I
Maybe Sarah actually saw it, and her mother is like telling her to like keep it quiet. We don't want a scandal in the family,
yeah,
and like that
yeah,
was the
yeah,
Yeah,
argument
yeah,
something
yeah,
starter.
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So the
And the
diamond, the
guest
secret.
list.
Well, yeah, David would have been crossed out
Oh
because
yeah,
where
because
did we
maybe
get the guest list from?
that guest list was
From
from
an
a gossip
article.
column.
From
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe he was disinvited because the family found about like he was having an affair with a lower class person. And they're like, fine, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Cool.
actually, like the date of the guest list, the crossed out, the article actually ties
Mm.
back to David would have visited the library because it turns out that at this library you had what was it, the art movement or intervention that he mentioned? It was
I think the
Don't
artist he
remember.
mentioned was Galbai, just like a performance artist.
so there would be for some reason some correspondence from this
Mm.
artist at the library, and yeah, there was a flashback that was when he met with Charlotte, and it ties in terms of dates when he was crossed out of that event.
Awesome. That sounds all great to me. So yeah, so one of you can roll, and there'll be 2 dice plus 2, and we'll see if that is the correct theory, and then we can go from there.
Well, I
See
think
how it
it's
works
a
out.
job for Giselle's assistant.
Yeah.
Let me roll them. That will be 9 plus 1. You said
+2. Yeah.
9 plus 2, 11. Then
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So you sort of get together in the back of the fish market, and yeah, sheriff is there if you want to make an accusation and call for an arrest.
I guess we. What's the most dramatic way that we can have a reveal
I,
and the Columbus thing with,
I think it
with
might be so like if you tell the sheriff your theory, and he's just like, that's ridiculous. Charlotte is a sweet old lady. She would never do anything like that. And maybe you're like, let us show you. And you go to the library, and it's almost midnight now, and the lights are on there. And sheriff lets you in, or knocks on the door and is like, police. And Charlotte comes to the front of the library, and she's a little bit disheveled. And the sheriff insists that you be let in, and she is there with David. David has come on shore, and they're planning. Maybe one of you sort of like listens at one of the windows before coming in, and you hear them discussing like how they're going to get away and like go off together um, somewhere. And so you can, if you'd like to do the scene where you confront them, go ahead.
um, Marilyn, do you want to run over them with your car, your Lincoln, as they flee?
as we go in, uh, or rather, she opens and David is maybe on the background.
Mhm.
I go like, I get the key card she gave us,
Mhm.
and I throw it at her like, and you always seem so helpful, Charlotte. How could you?
Yeah,
And
and yeah, go ahead.
and I just look at David in the background like, uh, well, like angrily, just angrily.
Yeah, I think he kind of he's like putting a jacket on, and he makes a dash for the back uh, to run out the back entrance.
Uh, no, I would like to go after him. As I'm
Yeah,
seeing him angrily, I would like to try to go
yeah,
after
you
him.
can I think easily get him. Maybe maybe Giselle assert some of her influence over him. um, but the yeah, sheriff is definitely just like, looks like you ladies are right. This is clearly, and you can see like the torn bit, like she has a bandage over her ear, and after David runs and you're able to grab him, she just blabs. She's like, this was, I never meant to hurt anybody. I never thought that I could do anything like that to someone. He was a grown man. I didn't think he would go overboard and die. I was just trying to defend myself. David, say something, and David's just like, yeah. And Sheriff Donald was like, well, I hate to say it, but it seems like you did it again. And he slaps the cuffs on Charlotte. David, you're not going anywhere. Just follow me, and I have some talking to do to you. And he leads them away, and you are left with the entire library to yourself.
Yeah, I think as we congratulate each other and we leave, I'd just like to leave something on a corner in the office of Charlotte. On the corner of her desk, there's a massive tome, sorry, with rather arcanic thing, and it's open on a chapter about a influential historical witch in Brindlewood Bay, who
Yeah.
apparently was called the Regal Lady. And on the
Nice.
picture, you can see that she was wearing those earrings.
Nice. I love it. And then end of episode, credit roll.
That's amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that. Cool. And that's Brindlewood Bay.
Amazing. Thank
I
you so
realize,
much.
yeah, thank you. I realized we didn't do the experience advancements things at the beginning, but for one shot, it doesn't matter. So that's that's fine.
Oh, you pick it in advance. Okay.
Yeah, you pick it ahead of time, and that's like guides you towards that. But you definitely showed someone that you've still got it. So if we were continuing, you would definitely get some experience for some stuff there. That was a great. I love. Thank you so much for playing. That was a lot of fun.
It's really fun.
I really like to go through the list and see if we did. Did you secretly undermine the authority? No, we didn't. Did you share your wisdom with a young person? Yeah, sort of. Did you share a memory of a late family member? Not really. Did you behave like a woman half your age? I surely did. Did you dote on someone? No. Did you show someone you still got it? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Full points. Great. I'm going to stop the stream. Thank whoever was watching. If anyone